Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Dandavat pranams to all of the devotees. We are live from the Soquel Seva Ashram. It's 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and today we have Arindam Krishna Prabhu here in the temple room. He's been coming Mondays and Thursdays are his Seva days, and I feel lucky that we get to be here together in the temple room today. Welcome. Again, we go live here every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and also on Thursdays. On Thursdays, we read from the Revealed Truth, and then we do some bhajans, and then have some prasadam. And so if you're local, please come on Thursdays as well if you want to sing together and read together. Okay, so today, let's see who is here. Tai or Te, I don't know how you pronounce your name, but welcome. And Marco Bruno, Dandavat pranams, thank you for being here. And last week we started reading, we were reading a little bit from the subjective evolution of consciousness. Each week is a different theme, but I thought it was just such a nice theme, so we can continue reading. But before we begin, just a couple of invocations, and we thought we'd chant a little Maha Mantra together, and then we'll continue reading. So we'll be here for about an hour or so hang out with us. And let's just begin by singing some Maha Mantra together. Do you want to play?
Or you do the
Or do you want to play and I'll do the mridanga?
Which one do you like?
Either one. Do you want to bring
Go old school.
Okay.
Govinda.
Woo! Oh my gosh, thank you. I could have gotten it.
You got it.
Yeah. Okay, so just little first, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And we'll give you some darshan of our Guru Varga while we invoke them. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurva Bista Supurakam Guru Ganera Shisha Sambhushitam Chintya Samastavera Nipunam Shri Rupa Pantanugam Govinda Biramujvalam Varatanum Bhakti Anvitam Sundaram Bande Vishwa Guruncha Divya Bhagavat Premno Hi Bija Pradam Devam Divya Tanum Suchandam Varanam Balarka Chilanchitam Sandrananda Puram Shareka Varanam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Ti Vidito Gudiya Gurvan Vaye Bato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogoda Samkirtanai. So we just celebrated the disappearance of Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj on Sunday, which was yesterday. Very, very beautiful, auspicious day. There was a beautiful program in the temple room led by Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj. And unfortunately, I actually couldn't be present in person because I had an event here in town. But nevertheless, I was able to share about Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj at this event, and also invite everybody to chant Maha Mantra. So this was very auspicious. And on this special day, I got the opportunity to share a little bit from our Krishna conscious philosophy and engage some new friends in chanting the holy name. So that felt auspicious and like a good way to also celebrate and honor this day. And this Sunday was also what is known as the Lionsgate. And the Lionsgate is this very, and I'm including Arindam here in our shot so that we can all be together. This Lionsgate is a very auspicious portal for manifesting, for setting intentions, and it was very interesting because it's also Guru Maharaj's disappearance day, same day. It was also the new moon, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj is known as the guardian of devotion and is represented by those two lions, right, in his Samadhi Mandir, and we have the two lions in front of Gurudev's Samadhi Mandir. So there was definitely this theme of protection, of spiritual life, of spiritual intention and dedication, and really committing to our spiritual practice, our spiritual duty, and remembrance of our Guru Varga, and spreading and sharing the holy name with others. So that was kind of a really powerful way to celebrate and honor the disappearance by sharing his philosophy, his words, his message, and also remembering on this special day. So I hope that you all had a wonderful Sunday and an opportunity to celebrate. And here we can celebrate together if you didn't get that chance. And so the Lionsgate Portal has been celebrated for thousands of years, and it has all of this astrological and cosmic significance with alignments with the pyramids of Giza and whatnot. Anyway, there's all this auspiciousness, and this window of opportunity runs through the 12th of August. So it's a very powerful time to just be really focusing on what you are wanting to bring into your life and what you are wanting to cleanse and getting rid of the old. And so it's a great way to renew your commitment and your dedication to spiritual practice and spiritual life. And the more that you can connect with your heart during this time, the more that you can connect with your spiritual practice during this time, the more auspiciousness you can invoke into your life. And it's almost like the rest of your year will continue and be nourished and nurtured from this time and the efforts that you commit to during this time. So it's a really great time to really remember and to focus on what is truly important. So just bringing a little bit of what I had to do yesterday, and also some news and updates of the celebrations here. And Vishaka Didi is coming the 19th through the 25th of this month of August to Soquel. And so the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd, we have some programs here at the temple and some activities and some workshops. And we've already spoken with Janardhan Maharaj about this. And so everybody is welcome to come and attend and to visit the ashram, and some opportunity for staying here through the weekend will be available. And so please come visit and stay and participate in the workshops that will be going on. And there will be kirtan workshops, philosophical discussions, some cooking workshops, some gardening projects, and some fun activities as well. So please come that weekend, come spend some time here. On Friday night, we have a program, a kirtan program at Pleasure Point Yoga at, I believe it will be 6:30 p.m., if not 6 p.m. I'll announce it again. And then Saturday night, we also have an evening program. This one will be for ladies only, so it will be also at Pleasure Point Yoga. So all the ladies and yoginis and devotees who want to come to this event, please come. And then we'll continue with the rest of the temple program. So please be sure to attend. And as always, Mondays, Thursdays, great opportunity to come spend some time here. And then every other Friday we have our kirtan bonfire. We're not doing it this coming Friday. We usually will do it so the next Friday, but that Friday we're actually doing the Pleasure Point Yoga event. So please come to that instead. Jai. These are the announcements. Okay, we wanted to begin with some chanting, some Maha Mantra. So just for a few minutes. And then we'll continue reading from Subjective Evolution of Consciousness. We had a little theme going from last week. Arindam, would you like to lead?
Oh, boy. If you want me to.
Yeah, why not? You have such a great voice.
Oh, Krishna.
Beginning with Panchatattva.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Okay, so nice. Thank you for singing, Arindam. Okay, maybe I can hand this to you or put it on the chair.
Balaram.
Seriously, heavy Balaram. Okay, so let's begin our reading. So nice to have Arindam Krishna here singing and chanting. Thank you. And his cooking is also very delicious.
Super nice to be here.
Okay, so we are reading from Subjective Evolution of Consciousness, and last week we started reading it just because I thought it was a really nice theme, and really talking about how when we get realization of the soul, we begin to see things differently. We begin to see everything from a different perspective, and how important that is, and really the soul's position, the mind's position, the intellect's position, and how they all work together, and how when we can acquire transcendental knowledge, then we begin to understand what is a soul within and how we can live and relate to this world. And so one of the last things that was, when we were where we left off reading, our search will take a concrete shape in devotion. In this way, we must begin our search after the higher sphere. And how to enter there? It is the opposite of this plane of exploitation. In Milton's Paradise Lost, Satan said, it is better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. But we shall experience just the opposite. It is better to serve in heaven than to reign in hell. To serve in heaven is highly superior than to reign in hell. The question of energy and power is important in the mortal world, but in the constant and eternal world, this sort of energy has no value. That plane is composed of eternal substance. It is not like this troubling plane, which is always breaking, always disappearing, always disappointing, and full of treachery. That divine plane is constant. Life goes on there without any need of food, rest, or medicine. There is no need of the labor to earn bread in that higher realm. All these things are not necessary in a plane of reality where everything is permanent and of eternal value. All these problems which are making us madly busy are easily eliminated in one stroke. That is the nature of that plane. And if we realize that we are members of that plane, then the question becomes what to do, how to approach the higher realm. That will be our problem. We cannot master that finer realm. We cannot force our entry there. We must be granted a visa. We cannot master that finer realm. We must allow ourselves to be utilized by it. In other words, we must come to the position of slavery. We shall have to realize that mastership here in the material world is a curse, and the slavery in that higher world is a boon. And the Bhagavatam will help us in our progressive march towards that higher plane. And we've been reading on Thursdays from Revealed Truth, talking about how the Bhagavatam came to be, and how and what is revealed truth, and how this revealed truth can completely revolutionize our existence, and how to follow revealed truth and understand how to find it. And so super kind of relevant to everything that we're, the two classes are connected, similar themes. And so this quote from the Bhagavatam, Nasta prayes abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. The impure, undesirable things within us are going to almost completely vanish, almost disappear by our serving association with the Srimad Bhagavatam and the devotee, sadhu and shastra. In this way, the continuous connection with Krishna consciousness comes out from within. The interrupting elements that result from renunciation and enjoyment vanish. The covers vanish, and the continuous flow within, the connection with pure Krishna consciousness, comes out. Just thought like of a couple of interesting, just like simple analogies, and they may not help, but they kind of help me to understand. So, you know, when you think about, like, say you're working somewhere, right? You're working, like, for example, I've worked at a raw vegan food place, and when I worked at this raw vegan food place, I had this abundance of green juices and superfoods and spirulina and all these yummy things. I also used to work at an organic, all-natural makeup store, and so I had all these amazing natural, organic, vegan products that I could use. I had this abundance of products just by working there, right? By working there, I was influenced by that, and I had an abundance of those things, and I could freely distribute them, and I was benefiting from the results and from the use of the products, and benefiting from the results of using those products. And so we experience this naturally in the material world, right? Whatever we associate ourselves with, where we put our energy, where we work, we tend to have an abundance of that in our lives. We tend to be really powerfully influenced by that. It becomes a part of us and what we have and who we are in some way. And so in the same way, when we associate with the Srimad Bhagavatam, when we serve the Srimad Bhagavatam, when we relate to it, and here, you know, it's specifically speaking about the Srimad Bhagavatam, but we can also kind of zoom out, and like when we associate with Krishna consciousness, with our Siddhanta, and with this philosophy, then we find ourselves having an abundance of this Krishna Katha, this transcendental sound vibration, this philosophy. We develop this kind of ammunition, right, for you know, this medicine for our minds, this medicine for the conversations we engage in, medicine that we get to share with others, right? So the more we absorb ourselves with and have to do about this Srimad Bhagavatam and this transcendental sound vibration, now our lives become filled with it. And everywhere we go, we see some relation, we remember some quote, we remember some story, we meet somebody, something's on the tip of our tongue, we have something to share. So it's super important, just like, you know, it's super important every day to bathe and to eat and to drink water and to like exercise. It's super important to always have this transcendental sound vibration happening as part of our practice. And so our life becomes full with it. And then the other thing, so sadhu and shastra, right? Vani and vapu, the form of the sadhu, and then vani, the transcendental sound vibration, the message. And in Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Pranam mantra, one of the last lines is Bilasatu Hridi Nityam Bhakti Siddhantavani. May this Bhakti Siddhantavani eternally sing in your heart. Bilasatu Hridi Nityam. Hrid means heart, Nityam, eternal, right? May this divine pastime eternally sing in your heart, right? Or these divine pastimes and this Bhakti Siddhantavani eternally be singing in your heart. So then we can say that these interrupting elements, right? Like these, again, here's another analogy. It's like, say you are taking homeopathy, and homeopathy medicine is very specific. And if you take certain other things when you're doing homeopathy, like mint or other strong things, it can counteract. It interrupts the effect of the medicine. And so in the same way, the results that come, or the elements that come from false renunciation, right? We're like falsely renouncing, right? There's this stage that I think all devotees go through where they feel they're very advanced and they feel they're very like evolved and like philosophical and transcendental. And they're just like super transcendental, right? Like this kind of false renunciation to the material. And I'm not saying that everyone's false or that everyone has a false renunciation, but you know, I've seen it, I've gone through it, I've experienced it, and I know it's a thing, and it's like, you know, it happens kind of when you're growing, where you're kind of like, I am not affected by this material world, and I am evolved and advanced, this like kind of false renunciation, right? And then boom, before you know it, you'll kind of go back to flip the other side of the coin, and that's the exploitation, right? You fall back down into, oh yeah, you think you're evolved, right? Krishna will come and test, right? If there's any little like ego that's festering there, it will get tested. It will, you know, you will experience the other side of it. And so, you know, then the other side is the exploitation. And now we're like, oh, Krishna consciousness isn't for me. This isn't my thing. This is just, it just doesn't work. I need to just focus over here, or whatever it is. Like, it's different for everyone. But just as an example, right, we go through these different stages of exploitation, of renunciation, and not only in our spiritual life, but also just in general in our material life. And so these kind of elements are interrupting the path of what is devotion, because devotion has nothing to do with some ego or some pride or some self-righteousness or some holier than thou or some, you know, even just full-on material endeavor. Like, for the devotee, it's kind of a curse and a blessing that we're just not gonna like really be able to thrive with false renunciation or full-on exploitation. It's just not going to work. We're always, I mean, luckily, right, we get the opportunity to get tested and to transform and to shift and to evolve into the middle path, right? And that's bhakti, right? Like bhakti, dedication. And so the previous page, he is saying, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, because, you know, this is his book, he wrote this, his classes gave this knowledge, his darshan. So our search will take a concrete shape in devotion. So when we approach with that mood of devotion, and that's why he's talking about that mood of serving that higher plane, right? It's not like we're gonna come and like now use the philosophy to become like better than everyone, or like whatever the, you know, in the world we can do with all these things. So we can only come and approach and properly receive through devotion, through dedication. And so the other methods are kind of interrupting elements. They're getting in the way of the flow. They're getting in the way of us being proper vessels and receiving. And, you know, you just kind of experience, I don't know if, like, I'm a teacher, I teach, I know you've taught and you teach theater, right? And so, like, you know, we're not gurus, right? But just even as a teacher, because I teach dance, I teach fitness, I coach people, and all stuff like that. And I see that when like somebody comes with some like, I know this, it kind of gets in the way of their learning. Or if they're like, oh, I don't need to do this, or like, I don't, you know, like it's not for me, then it also gets in the way of their learning. But the students that come with this like hunger, and who come with this like mood of wanting to learn, and this mood of really wanting to kind of understand and dedicate themselves to the practice, they're the ones that evolve the most, and the ones that are consistent and grow, and that I end up developing a really great rapport and relationship with, and who have become my friends. And I've noticed also the same way with mentors and bosses that I have had, you know, those that, first of all, if they've been nice and righteous and not exploitative, I've been able to maintain friendships with those bosses to this day. And I came in the mood of a student, and, you know, serving and working, and that has evolved into a friendship. So in the same way, when we come with devotion and these renunciation and enjoyment elements kind of move to the side, then we can allow and not get in the way of Krishna consciousness. And then it says, these covers vanish, and the continuous flow within, the connection with pure Krishna consciousness comes out. And so I think that's really nice. And I just had those analogies in my head, you know, as I was reading that. And hopefully that's helpful in some way.
Can I
yes, please.
Because it's hearing, the teachers here are very clear always about our path is in renunciation. And even before I met the teachers here, you see that picture in the Bhagavad Gita of the the yogi, he's all emaciated, his eyes are like, and his fingernails have grown through his hands, and that's not, our path is not one of renunciation, like you say, it interrupts the flow of bhakti. And many think like, I'm going to go to a cave in Himalayas and I'll renounce and I'll be done with the material world. And it's not what our teachers teach. It's not what you're teaching. It's not what we've been taught.
Yeah.
And we all know the dangers of enjoyment and exploiting. That's a hot mess. But you know, it's something to hear. You think, you know, I'm on a spiritual path. I renounce. I'm done with the material play.
Yeah, I really love Pushta Krishna, his example, his life, and also what he would say about dovetailing your Krishna conscious and your material life, right? Bringing them together. And I've said this over and over again, but that was one of Gurudev's first instructions to me as a child, like 10, 12. I always got like instruction from him all the way up until like my 20s and until he left. And that was one of the first ones. Balance your material and your spiritual life diligently. He wasn't saying, and I wanted to give everything up and not go to school and just stay in the temple and just do puja forever and preach and do kirtan. And he was like, finish your school. And I was like, oh, why? And now I understand, right? Oh, we work with the tools of this material world. We work with this material world and we offer it. We offer it up. We offer it to Gurudev. We use it in his service. And it just like a small little example, right? Like recently I had to get a new car. And so I got a new car. And, you know, Hasipriya and Janardhan Maharaj were like the first ones to go in my car. Hasipriya kind of stole the spot. He jumped in and was like, I'm the first one. And then Janardhan Maharaj came in the car and I got to drive him. And so I offered that car to, you know, the Acharya here. And it was really kind of a small little example, right, of like everything that we have. And there's so many beautiful devotees. Like I can always think of Jagannath Swami and Hari Prasad and Jai Sakarikara Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giri Hari Ju Ki Jai. You have to see the deities, oh my goodness. Wow, so beautiful. Yeah, so we see these really beautiful devotees that they have their businesses, they have their life, even Pushta Krishna Prabhu, right? He was a world-renowned surgeon, and he so often supported Gurudev with his health and gave Gurudev better opportunities, you know, for his health when he was here, because he had access to that. So, you know, everything we have, we can offer it. So yeah, really nice comment. And I would say, like, chanting the holy name is our cave. You know, like going and chanting japa, like by yourself or in the forest, like that is our cave. That is our leaving this world for a moment and renouncing and just like being in the japa. So we have those opportunities. And I would also say, like, it's the greatest enjoyment, right? Like chanting and singing and dancing and sharing. It's also like more happiness than some like material thing, you know, really, to be honest. It's funny because sometimes I'm like, this is what everyone's looking for. I'm like, just like being around my Gurudev, I've experienced so much more happiness, you know. I mean, it doesn't mean, yeah, there's cool things in the material world and things that I like to do and music and whatnot, whatever, you know, but like it doesn't compare really to the satiation, the fulfillment that you feel with spiritual practice and spiritual life. So
I concur.
yeah. We agree here, over here, Soquel Seva Ashram team. Okay, let's continue. So now he goes into talking about the two covers. So, okay, good. Now we can get some up-leveling and upgrading of our conversation. Now Guru Maharaj will teach us a little bit about what exploitation and the renunciation tendency is about. So now we're going to educate ourselves. Further, there are two covers, the exploiting tendency and the renouncing tendency, karma and gyan. Okay, so karma is the exploitation tendency. Gyan is the renouncing tendency. The exploiting spirit and the tendency for knowledge that leads to liberation. They are not proper elements of our soul, of our real entity. They are only covers. And by our serving association with the Srimad Bhagavatam and the devotee, they are uncovered. Jai Shri Hari Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Hari Ju Ki Jai. The continuous flow of Krishna consciousness within comes out. Nishta means nairantaja, continuous. Adao shraddha tata sadhu sangota bhajana kriya tato narta nivritti syat tato nishta ruchistata. When the covers are removed, then we find that inner continuity of flow within Krishna connection, that continuity of flow with Krishna connection within us. So when the covers are removed, then we find that inner continuity of flow with Krishna connection within us. And Naishtiki Bhakti appears. That is completely clear, cleansed. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Then on the basis of Nishta, that is the continuous flow, then further progress is made on the positive side. Ashakti, attachment. Then bhava, spiritual emotion. Then prema, divine love. In this way, the inner aspect of devotion will gradually come out. So, bhaktir bhavati naishtiki, on the basis of nishta, that is the continuous flow, further progress is made on the other side, on the positive side, right? So the positive side is the bhakti, the continuous flow. And this comes from ashakti, attachment, bhava, spiritual emotion, and then prema, divine love. So this is how the inner aspect of devotion begins to be revealed, this progression. So there's a progression here. So first there's some attachment that's developed, right? Some attachment to chanting, to hearing, to speaking, some sort of attachment. Then bhav, some spiritual emotion, some spiritual connection, some feeling, some inner feeling. And then prema, divine love. And we shall be able to dive deep into reality as we give up the external covers and we experience what may be considered as death in the external world, die to live, we shall enter into the inner side more and more. And so this die to live, it's like we're no longer just looking for material things just because we need to look for material things. Maybe instead what's happening is that, we're looking for material things for the purpose of serving with them, or we are functioning in this world not just for the fruit of our actions, but for the fruit of sharing Krishna consciousness with others. And so this dying of what we've known to be this world and what we've known to be our experience with the world, our pursuit of things of this world, that dies, that transforms, that kind of like the phoenix, right? It rises from the ashes. So we kind of leave the material conception and this new perspective rises, and we have this new way of interacting with the world. And I think it's so much nicer and cleaner and healthier and fulfilling to switch our lens and our way of interacting with the world. Question. This verse says, Nasta prayes abadreshu, that the impurities are almost destroyed. Why not completely destroyed? Srila Sridhar Maharaj, that means it happens gradually. The gradual development is described there. Nasta prayeshu means when the stage of nishta comes, when all the undesirabilities are almost finished, then we can have a real peep into the thing. Just as before sunrise, when there is twilight in the early morning, the sun is not there, but the darkness has been dispelled. The darkness has been mainly removed, but the sun has not yet risen. In the same way, the Bhagavatam is describing how bhakti develops gradually. Nasta prayeshu, it is not finished immediately. There is a gradual process of sadhana, a means to an end. And gradually, slowly, according to the capacity of the devotee and the endeavor, the sadhana, one's bhakti develops. When darkness has almost been finished, the non-gentle, abnormal, exploitative symptoms like the mean attempt to exploit the environment gradually disappear. And in this way, gradually, we make further progress. It is not that all of a sudden, in one stroke, everything is cleared. Rather, according to our bhajan, our sadhana, our attempt, the undesirable elements will gradually vanish, go away. And by different stages, we shall reach the goal. So, just kind of reminds me of like building a business. You can't just expect that you're going to build a business and then like overnight you're going to be making your whatever 10 grand, 20 grand a month. It's like you have to go through stages. You have to go through stages and you have to have patience, enthusiasm, confidence. You have to pace yourself. You have to inquire and ask questions and notice what your weaknesses are. So in the same way, it's like Krishna consciousness is a commitment. It's a lifelong process. It is our business. And it takes time, and we have to be realistic that it's not going to happen overnight. We have to be patient, enthusiastic. We have to trust. We have to inquire, right? It's a process. And if we can just understand that it is a process and get real about that and take it as such, like this is a process of bhakti, right? Like if any of you have raised children or grown gardens or developed businesses or developed your musical abilities, whatever you've done in this world that's taken your life and commitment and dedication, right? The same thing with Krishna consciousness. We bring that kind of care and that kind of attention and that kind of daily practice as if it were our bread and butter, right? Like we cultivate it with that kind of focus, chanting our japa, associating with devotees that inspire topics and talks of Krishna, right? Being able to ask questions to our acharyas and receive instruction, being able to, scary fly, being able to serve and practice serving and what that even looks like and feels like, right? And what it's like to help and make the devotees happy, and what it's like to be doing puja and engaging in sankirtan. So we have so many beautiful activities and ways of engaging, and consider it a practice. Consider it something that is being cultivated. And, you know, again, like the gym, you want a super strong body, you're not just gonna lift weights one day and then like expect it to work, right? Over time, you begin to see the growth. Over time, you see the development. Over time, you see the improvement. And so we have to have that kind of awareness and understanding that it's a process that takes time. And so we have to be mindful and gentle and careful and kind and dedicated and consistent and committed and all of these nice words that lead to good things. So I always I think hearing this just helps on so many levels, right, in our life. And if we're this concept of dovetailing our material and our spiritual life, then this advice is so nice because we can apply that to everything we do. Not rushing and looking for the fruit right away and getting mad when we don't get it, but just step by step, you know, being patient. And how we've seen, like, for example, so many of our acharyas, Prabhupada, patiently, meticulously, consistently grow an international society of Krishna consciousness, right? How we've watched Govinda Maharaj build our mission worldwide with patience and cultivate so many devotees and cultivating the love in their hearts. And even just like Ashram Maharaj too, just like the way he takes care of his devotees and is just so nice. And, you know, Janardhan Maharaj, so consistent with speaking and being kind of like, not kind of, being the light here at the ashram always keeping the flame of Krishna Katha going and encouraging all of us with his words. So we see that consistency, that dedication, that commitment in them, and that it takes time not to give up right away or let anyone interrupt your own progress. Don't let anyone get in the way or make you turn away. Keep it as your own. It's your own. It's for you. And this goes on here. So these stages have been described by Rupa Goswami as follows in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1:4-15 through 16. Adau Shraddha Tada Sadhu Sangota Bhajana Kriya Tato Narta Nivritti Syat Tato Nishta Ruchistata Ata Shakti Stato Bhavas Tata Prema Vyaddanchati Sadakana Mayam Premna Pradurbhave Bhavit Krama. In the beginning, there must be faith. Then one becomes interested in associating with pure devotees. Thereafter, one is initiated by the spiritual master and executes the regulative principles under his orders. Thus, one is freed from all unwanted habits and becomes firmly fixed in devotional service. Thereafter, one develops taste, then attachment. This is the way of sadhana bhakti, the execution of devotional service according to the regulative principles, right? Like, we don't want to do the whole elephant bath. We bathe and then we cover ourselves in dirt, right? Like, we take medicine and then we take things that counteract the medicine. So that sadhana bhakti, that practicing life, helps us to keep that healthy diet so that the connection from within can come out. So gradually spiritual emotions manifest and intensify. Then finally, there is an awakening of divine love. This is the gradual development of love of Godhead for the devotee interested in Krishna consciousness. Rupa Goswami says that nishta means continuous connection. Super nice. Let's remember this word, nishta, continuous connection. After nishta, the mundane negative side is eliminated, and then the positive side, is eliminated, and then in the positive side, we may make progress. Then after this, there are the higher stages, ashakti, bhava, right? Attachment, divine emotion, bhava, spiritual emotion, and prema, divine love of God. Within prema, there are also different stages: sneha, mana, raga, anuraga bhava, mahabhava. In this way, bhakti develops to the topmost plane, mahabhav. Mahabhav means Radharani, that supermost intensity of bhakti, which is not found anywhere else, is found only in her. That is called Mahabhav. In this way, bhakti, divine love, develops in different stages up to the highest level. So nice. It's so nice to hear the different levels, and the different stages and the gradual process. I don't know why, but lately I really like this idea of like chipping away at things, like step by step, one little step, one little step, one little step. I really like that. It's been my like comfort, my solace lately. Yeah. So it's nice to see it here too. And so this chapter ends here. And then this chapter was called Consciousness and Evolution. And then the next chapter is called The Plane of Misconception, chapter 4. You know what? We might just keep reading. It's just so nice. I mean, not tonight, but like last week I just found a little section that I thought was really relevant for the topic, and now I'm kind of addicted.
It's one of those books.
It really is. If you don't have the Subjective Evolution of Consciousness, go get yours. You can download it, I think, from the Mott website. Such a beautiful book.
I would like to share that over time, I think I came to the Mott here maybe around 93 or 4 for the first time, or maybe 95 or 96. There are so many words for it. I guess I'll choose the word Ananda, that I feel it more and more. It wasn't always that way. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go wash some pots now, or oh, I don't want to go do some service because I want to serve my guru, but it feels laborious, but I want to do it anyway because, you know, I want to serve my guru. And I can testify, I can witness that starting to, you know, little by little, step by step, when I am associating or serving or chanting or connecting in that way, that gift of Ananda that we get from Gurudev and the Vaishnavas, it's not just a word in a book, but it's a feeling I'm most grateful for, that only I've experienced with the Vaishnavas.
Nice.
Just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's super nice. So you felt first this like, okay, it's like this thing you're making yourself do, and it's like, you know, it's good, right? The understanding is there, and you're just kind of like going with it. But now there's this like, you feel the happiness and the joy more and more from it, the fulfillment from it.
Yeah.
Super
I mean,
nice.
Srila Govindaraj found me. We found each other. It was unquestionable. This is Krishna coming in the form of Guru. And so I'm bound to try to serve the best I can with varying degrees of success and failure. But now, however many years I don't want to think that have gone by, that Ananda, that's the word I'll stick with to keep it safe. You know, Ananda. I can experience that.
So nice.
In ways I haven't before.
Super special.
It's a mitzvah. Only by Guru's grace.
Yeah. It's true. And the portal of the pot room. The pot washing room. That's a special portal in there. Super. Well, yes, this concludes our discussion and reading for tonight. And just remembering how can you engage more over the next few days. I mean, always really, but just take some time. And also, it's a new moon, new beginnings. It's a great way to reset your commitments. You know, if you maybe you've been falling off on your japa or haven't read, maybe get up tomorrow morning and chant your japa, read your books, read a little bit tomorrow, make a new commitment for your practice. I think it's always really nice. I like to reset with the new moon, always just trying to remember, okay, what are my intentions? Maybe I fell off here. Now I'm going to reorganize, course correct, and kind of come back to the thing I said I wanted to do. So just encouraging everyone, what is your intention? What are you calling in your spiritual practicing life? What are you calling into your life, into your heart? Make some intentions, set some commitments for yourself, and stick to it and see how your life changes. Maybe wake up every day and read first thing in the morning for 5 minutes, and that's how you start your day, right? Just reading 9 pages from a book or whatever every day. Little bit by little bit goes a long way. I noticed that like just from these twice a week reading and giving class or just sharing, I have like food for the whole week to share with others, you know, some topics or quote or some story to share with others. So it's a really great way to keep me focused. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj for the opportunity to share here. And we'll close with some kirtan here. We'll be singing Hari Haraya, also known, it's actually the name of the song is Nam Sankirtan by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Thank you. So please feel free to sing along. It's on page 60 if you have the 7th edition of the Kirtan Guide. All right, here we go. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Namaha. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha. Echai Goshai Kori Charana Vandana. Jaha Hoite Vignanasha Visa Purana. Echai Goshai Dharamui Taro Dasa. Dasavara Pada Renu Mora Panchagrasa. Darira Charana Sibi Bhakta Sanibasa. Janame Janame More Abhilasa. Echai Goshai Jabe Braje Koila Basa. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakasha. Anande Bolo Hari Vaja Vrindavana. Shri Guru Vaishnava Parikara Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki. Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki. Jai Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki. Saparshad Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki. Shuddha Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shri Nishringhadev Ki. Bhakta Prabhar Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki. Vrindavan Purushottam Dham Ki. Shri Navadvip Dham Ki. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki. Shri Ganga Jamuna Ji Ki. Shri Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Ki. Shri Mad Bhagavatam Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki. Shri Bhagavad Gita Ki. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki. Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Nitai Gaud Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. And Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj Ki Jai. Gatekeeper of Gupta Govardhan Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram. Jai. Thank you all so much for joining and for tuning in. Let's say goodnight to everyone. Let's see who is here. Dandavat pranams to Tai or Tays, Marco Bruno or Murari, right? Murari. And we have Ilya, we have Madhav, Michael Madhav Thompson. We have Hari Garcia. We have Katie, Malati Devi Dasi. We have Gaur N. Das, maybe that's Gaur Nataraj Das. We have Mayeshwari Devi Dasi, Narayani, Chris Camp, and Chris Camp, I see your comment about streaming on YouTube instead of Facebook. Actually, Janardhan Maharaj wants us to go live from the Facebook page here, but Madhu Mangal Prabhu tends to put these on YouTube, so you can also find them on YouTube as well, but we will stay and remain going live from the Mott Facebook page. So please keep tuning in here, and then I think they'll be put onto the YouTube page later. Sorry about that. I hope you're able to watch from here. And Nora Hilda, Dandavat Pranams, and Sharavanan, Dandavat Pranams to you. Stanley Green, and Dipta Krishna watching from Mauritius, Dandavat, Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Gurudev. And Hari Prasad is watching, and Sri Jagannath Das, Dandavat. Oh yes, and Murari Krishna, yes, Murari Krishna. I just get so used to the Facebook names, I have to memorize. Thank you for reminding me. And anyone else who is here and has their Facebook names, feel free to put your spiritual names so I can start to remember everyone's spiritual names. And I know who you are, Murari. I know you come here all the time and your truck is always parked outside and you're always delivering the lovely, all the boga, and also Ilya Prabhu. Thank you so much. And I hope we get to see you guys. Please come, Murari and Ilya and Madhav Krishna Prabhu. Come to the Friday Kirtan bonfires. We'd love to see you there. It won't happen the following week because we'll be at Pleasure Point Yoga, but please come to that, and come on Thursdays if you're able to. Otherwise, see you when you come on Sunday. Looking forward to seeing you all in person. Arindam Krishna, do you want to say anything to the devotees watching?
Jai Gurudev! All the devotees, ki jai!
Jai. Okay, we will go ahead and wrap up our live stream for this evening. Tune in again next Monday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and this Thursday. And actually, I think I have to find someone who might be able to read. Maybe, I don't know, you're in the kitchen. Because every second Thursday of the month, I have a commitment that I had already set up with my clients for a program that I run. That was before I started doing this, so I can't just drop that. So hopefully I'll find someone to read and go live on Thursday, this second Thursday of the month, and if not, see you the following Thursday. Okay, good night everybody. Dandavat. Haribo.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda.
Shri Advaita Gadadara